Yeah.
Yes, you may sit.
Good afternoon, everyone. About 5 years ago, we lost a student in one of our local high schools to suicide. And since then, his family and friends and an organization or two, Become One, has moved to really make this a priority. So today's proclamation stems from that. National Suicide Prevention Awareness Week. It's okay to not be okay. Whereas suicide is a national public health challenge that causes immeasurable pain among individuals, families, and communities across the country. And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States and second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34. The fourth leading cause of death for those ages 25 to 45 years. And whereas September is nationally recognized in the United States as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month to raise awareness of the stigmatized and often taboo topic, as well as to promote resources available to use in our community. And whereas suicide is the only leading cause of death in the United States that has increased every year for the past decade with an average of 130 suicides per day. And whereas the Calvert community is not immune from suicide, death, and suicidal feelings, thoughts that can affect anyone, regardless of age, race, color, religion, sex, ancestry or national origin, marital status, physical or mental disability, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or genetic information. And whereas conversations about depression and suicide are central to preventing further suicide and ending the stigma attached to the topic. And whereas Calvert County Public Schools embraces the charge of suicide awareness and prevention and collectively supports our school leadership, administrators, school resource officers, school counselors, educators, support staff, athletic coaches, parents, and children as partners in awareness and prevention. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we all carry heavy burdens and fight silent battles at some point in our lives. Therefore, we know it is okay to not be okay. And further resolved that the members of the Board of Education of Calvert County do hereby proclaim September 9th through 15th, 2021 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Week, and Calvert County Public Schools embraces the "it's okay to not be okay" symbol as a call for support for all of our students and staff.
I second.
Thank you.
So if I could add to that, in all my years in law enforcement, my one specialty was crisis intervention. I can't tell you how many times I've had to speak to someone either by megaphone or on the phone, pleading with them as though they were my own child. Unfortunately, I've had to go to too many of these events, and I take it very seriously that we need to always, no matter how happy the person may be, is to look to the inside. Because sometimes what appears to be okay is not. And it's your responsibility, it's my responsibility, it's their responsibilities to always be aware of things going on. That's not to say intrude in somebody's business, but sometimes you just know.
Mr. White, would you like to introduce who we have here today to receive the proclamation?
Yes, today we have Amanda Kirby and Anita Santoyo of Become One.
I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Calvert County Public Schools, as one. I lost my son Tyler Bland. He was a sophomore at Huntingtown High School in 2016. I think it's very important that us as our education system and us as a community, that we come together and we continue to talk about it. We make it aware. We have lost too many prior before him and prior and after him. And we need to come together to continue to make this and break the stigma that surrounds the mental health, or just to let our kids know that they can speak to somebody, and sometimes they don't look okay, but they look okay, but they're not. And, my son played sports through this county, since he was a small child. He was active at Huntingtown High School. And, it's, a dream for me to make sure that it's okay, that these kids know that it's okay to say something, and for the schools to be equipped to help or to step in. I can't tell you how many administrators, teachers that were at my son's funeral that said, "What did we miss?" I had no answers. I'm his mother and I didn't know what I missed. But we can move forward and we can try to advocate for better and to continue. So we try not to lose anybody else, whether they're adults, children, colleagues, so forth.
Hi, my name's Anita Santoyo. I'm with Become One. I was introduced to Amanda about 3 years ago and have been working to tell her story about Tyler and helping her efforts in getting his story out. The family has been extremely courageous in doing interviews, his friends and his community, and we're putting together a documentary on him as a part of it, and to make sure his death isn't going in vain. We're working to help develop a symbol that our kids can use, and our coaches and anyone who needs it can use when they can't have the words to say, "I'm not okay." They could just write this symbol on a school piece of paper before they turn it in, or they could write it on a note and they could hand it to a coach, or they could write their friend's name, and it looks like an O, a K, and a slash through it. And it's basically just to inform someone when they can't say, "I'm feeling this, but I know I'm not okay," to give that to them. And then we together as a community know, and as a school system, develop a process that can respond to them and can help them, so that, Mr. Nutter, you're not in that position as much to respond to those calls, that we can catch it 4 stages ahead. I realize by the time we get here, it might be too late. But 4 stages ahead, if we can have a kid write that symbol about his friend or himself, it's just giving them a voice when they can't find that voice sometimes. So we thank all of you guys for being a part of this and for just supporting us and supporting Amanda and getting her story out and helping us tell Tyler's story so that it can prevent any future incident like it.
And maybe his story can help save somebody else, even if it's just one, and hopefully one can reach 10, or 10 can reach 100, but at least we touch someone, and we can let them know that it's okay. So I thank you all.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second on the floor regarding the proclamation. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much for being here.